Welcome. This is the Central Florida Computer Society and the Sarasota Technology User Group, WinSig, or Windows Special Interest Group, for Sunday, October 8th, 2023. I'm Hewie Poplock, and I welcome you to our monthly meeting where we talk about items about computers and specifically the Windows. And let me go ahead and stop the share so you can see each other, and I'm glad you're here. The way we work it is I come up with articles from the last month. I post them on the Windows Special Interest Group webpage, which I'll show you in just a moment. And then we discuss the various articles. I read from them. We talk about them. Sometimes we'll do some examples of them and so on. And you're welcome to participate when I either during me reading the articles and talking about them, or when we take I take a break between two or three articles or an article, and we can talk about that. And sometimes we go off into some tangents and some other things. We very seldom get through the whole list. The list is there on hewie.net/WinSig, and I will show you that right now. And the links are there so you can go back and look at each of the articles. I think you lost me for a minute, didn't you?
We did.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
I was saying, and I don't know how much of it you got, but at 4:30 this morning, I discovered some things about OneDrive being updated. I tried to get to it, and I'll talk about it as we got a high load, so that may happen again. I don't know what's going on here, but I got a lot of windows open as well, or a lot of tabs open in my browser. So let's take a look at the first article. And it's not there. It's not there. It's going to be here. And let's see. I want to get to the. I hope this will work. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I probably should have done this in Edge, and I didn't.
I think you're right. There you go. Nope. But that will work.
Well, let's do it this way. Here we go. And we'll give it and full screen. Okay, so anyway, OneDrive is about to get one of the biggest updates ever, and it's all about the web and AI. This is a good article because it kind of summarizes it. It says Microsoft recently announced, and that was in the last 3 days, that many new features shipping to OneDrive, including AI Copilot system, offline mode, and more. The company unveiled Copilot in OneDrive, designated or designed to serve as a daily digest, showcasing newly shared files, changes made on the files, documents relevant to upcoming meetings, and suggestions for follow-up actions. A lot of it is geared around multiple people working on files and so on. So more in the enterprise. So I'm not sure how much it's going to really affect you and I. We'll have to see. Copilot is in OneDrive is expected to be available to customers by December. So it's not available yet, though users will need a Microsoft 365 Copilot license to access it. At this point, in the enterprise level, Copilot is going to be $30 a month. I'm understanding that for those of us who are Microsoft 365 family or individual users, either the $69.95 version or the $99.95 version, it's probably going to be $10 more a month. to use the Copilot that's part of it. And then I've seen other places where they say it's going to be part of it. So we'll have to see. That hasn't been announced yet. Microsoft 365 Chat is also making its way to OneDrive and will help users instantly gather information across their Microsoft 365 data. In other words, it'll look at your files as well as what it finds on the web and what it uses for ChatGPT. Microsoft just held its much anticipated online event dubbed Microsoft OneDrive. The future of file management is here, showcasing the next generation of file management across Microsoft 365. As expected, a huge part of the announcement was majorly inclined towards improved and enhanced file management capabilities, as well as AI integration into the platform. To make this possible, Microsoft has redesigned the home experience in OneDrive for web to ensure that users are able to access their documents instantly, which is complemented by the AI-powered file recommendations from the For You section, ultimately allowing users to work effectively, inefficiently, since they will now access their files with ease. And it's going to look something like this. I can't put my mouse over it, so I can't make it bigger. But what I can do is I'm going to show you, I hope this is going to work without knocking me off here. But I'm going to go ahead and stop the share and then start another share. Let's see, how I'm going to do this. We'll do that again. Brings me back here, but let's see. I want to open up. No, that's not what I want either. I just, as I say, it was 4:30 this morning when I got to play with this and learned about it, and then I went back to sleep. So I got to try to remember everything I learned at 4:30 this morning. So I'll go to a new window here, and I am going to sign in to OneDrive online. And you have to, obviously, you have to have a Microsoft account. You've got to sign into it, and you have to have OneDrive turned on. But if you've used OneDrive before, you will see it's populating now. It's got a different look to it. It's got some it's got some pictures up here, and it's going to have more things when it finally is released. But you're going to have things up here, and then you have, like, here's my files, and it tells me when it was modified, the size, and then whether it's sharing or private. But you can go to shared. When I go to shared, it will show everything that either is shared with me or by me. Which I think is quite good. So I can see what I'm sharing with either somebody else, and it will give me more information about that. But this is shared with me. And then you can also go to photos, and you can have, this is in Google Photos now. This is the Microsoft Photos. And so I have different pictures here, but I do have a lot of pictures for whatever reason. Somebody have a comment? Okay. And then let's see.
Marilyn has her hand up.
Okay, hang on one second. I don't, oh yeah, I see. Yeah, Marilyn, you have a question.
Yes, I'm not as advanced as you guys, so I don't even know what OneDrive is. Could you just tell me that?
Sure. OneDrive is the cloud storage that Microsoft allows you to use to save files and to use if you want to backup or use as a backup, or where you want to store your files. Some can be located on your hard drive and you can back them up on OneDrive, or you can use OneDrive to store the files so they're not stored on your computer, they're stored in the cloud. So if you go to another computer, you can access it there. Or if you're in an enterprise situation where multiple people in your company need to have access to the same file, you can do so, and you can all work on that file on OneDrive. But it's the cloud storage that Microsoft provides, similar to Google Drive, from obviously from Google, Dropbox, and there are others that are out there, but it's Microsoft's, and it comes, you get it free with your Microsoft account, but you only get 5 gigs to start of storage. If you can buy extra, you can buy up to a terabyte for like $10 a month. But if you're going to do that, you might as well buy the Microsoft 365, which gives you all of the Office for that money and maybe even a little less, and you get 1 terabyte for each user that you have in the Microsoft 365.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Hewie,
Yes.
can you elaborate just a tiny little bit on that? Is it similar to Dropbox in that if I have a desktop with lots of disk space and a laptop with a very small disk, I could keep 200 gigabytes in OneDrive and access that as if it was on my laptop.
That's correct.
Even though my laptop doesn't have nearly enough space to hold all those files.
Absolutely. And then when you're on your other computer, you can still access that same file.
Of course, you have to be online to do that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yes.
obviously.
Yeah.
So it's a way to.
Yeah, if you have a computer with limited storage, it's a great way to expand your capacity.
Yeah, so let's look at my files here. Now,
Good.
It's taking a while to load up because right now I've got, I think, around 20 tabs open with websites. Okay, so you'll see that I have some files here, and it does say sharing and or private, and then recent. I can show the recent. Now what I'm going to do is rather than show, because there's not much more I can show to this, so I'm going to go ahead and close this. And what I am going to do, let's make sure I close the right thing. There we are. And what I'm going to do is I am going to open up my File Explorer. Move it over here. Because what I want to show you is if we go into Documents, and let's go to my folder here, and let's just go to some files for today. No, it's not showing me what I want to show you. Let's go to my desktop then. Documents, because I know some of those are both documents. Desktop. And view. Yeah, you'll see right here, my desktop, there's a little check mark there. That means it's both in the cloud and local. So you can specify any or all of your folders on your or files. You can go down to the file level and say, I want this file to be on OneDrive as well as being on my desktop, or I only want it on the cloud, or I only want it on my desktop. If it's only on the cloud when you want to use it, it will download it to your computer for you to work with. So it's a way of backing up or having it stored to use it out on the web. So let's see what else the article has to say here. Notably, Microsoft is also making it easier for users to keep track of upcoming and past meeting. There's going to be some things there. Shipping to OneDrive soon. Besides additions, Microsoft also announced a plethora of new features on their way to OneDrive in the future to make file organization, access, and creation. So what I want to do here is, let's see, I think down farther. Maybe it might be in the next article. So, well, you can get the Microsoft 365 Personal for around $70 a year. That's basically what you're doing is you're buying a license for Microsoft Office for the year, and it gives you 1 terabyte of storage. If you buy the Family Edition, it gives you 6 copies that you can give to your family members, friends, whoever you want to use for the year. Each one will give them 1 terabyte of drive storage, and you don't have access to that unless they give it to you. But and that's $99 or $100 a year, $99.99 or $99.95, something like that. Okay, I believe it's the next article that I have, so I'm going to close that. As I say, that article is on Hewie.net/WinSig as a list of all the links that I'm talking about here. And again, as I say, that this is all new. It's new to me. A lot of it's not available yet, but it's coming. Here's the same information with the OneDrive. You might want to click on that and take a closer look, and it's going to explain how it's going to look on your drive with the updated OneDrive that's coming. It's not here yet, but here are the new features. OneDrive Home to help you swiftly retrieve your files. For You section to give AI-powered, let's see, I want to go ahead and make that bigger for you. Doesn't seem to be that much bigger, but meetings view to show you all about your meetings and their history. People view to look at for files based on the sender's name, shared, and so on. You can see that there are various things here that you can have. But some of the new features coming to OneDrive, open in the app. Soon you'll be able to open any file in its desktop app and edit it. The file with the changes will sync automatically with OneDrive, as I say, automatically. OneDrive in Teams and Outlook. I don't use Teams, but OneDrive is coming to the Teams app as the OneDrive Teams app soon to provide clean access for SharePoint and OneDrive for Teams. And the new Outlook for Windows, there's going to be a new version of Outlook coming out very shortly. And the web, OneDrive will be added to the left navigation. This feature will be added by December. Files on demand for web. With this feature, you'll be able to access files and folders offline for offline access on your device. You need to select them to be always available locally directly from OneDrive for the web. This feature is expected to roll out worldwide in early 2024. Offline mode. Offline mode makes it easy to access and work on files in your web browser, even if you're offline. All the changes you make offline will automatically be synced back to OneDrive once the internet is restored. Also, you can launch OneDrive in your browser to do file management without internet access. Offline features will be available to users starting in early 2024. That seems like a long time away, but don't forget it's October of 2023 already. So we're only talking a couple of months where some of these things may roll out. Add new. OneDrive will have add new button to create a new file in the summer of 2024. There'll be a media view. This feature will let you browse the content and organize all of your images, videos, and media in one place. Media view will be released in the summer of 2024. Copilot in OneDrive. OneDrive will soon have a co-pilot feature to let users ask open-minded questions, open-ended, not open-minded, but open-ended questions related to a file in SharePoint and OneDrive and get the summary of the content. It will be available for all users who have Microsoft 365 Copilot license by December. So apparently this Copilot license is going to become available sometime between now and December, hopefully for the individual user, as opposed to, it definitely will be available to those in enterprise. Microsoft 365 Chat will help you go through your entire content of Microsoft 365, including your files on OneDrive and SharePoint. You can gather and deliver information using the Microsoft 365 Chat. And the Microsoft 365 Chat is AI. And so there's some other things here in the article. That's the end of that article. So we'll close this, and we're going to close this. I got one more. Was this? Well, this is another one on that topic. Let's go ahead and open up the larger print. And as you can see from the pictures, it's going to be colorful. They're changing the look of it a lot. And Windows itself is going to change to look like that, as well as the Microsoft Office products. The new OneDrive 3.0 update includes some new design elements along with many new features. Let's get this up to 130. The official OneDrive blog has an extensive look at what's coming for users with the 3.0 update. And it's going to look something like this. And again, if you go to that website, you can enlarge and take a look more closely at the screen captures of what it's going to all look like. There's a ton of new and upcoming OneDrive 3.0 features that they didn't mention in this article. To be sure to go ahead on the official OneDrive blog for all the info. Microsoft OneDrive. You can look at all of those different titles and items. And let's see, these are just some other articles from that. So we'll close this. And there was one more that I wanted. Yeah. You can download this. It's a PDF. It's 15 pages long. And the link, again, is in the Hewie.net/WinSig. And it's the OneDrive Quick Start Guide. I'm not going to go through it. It's 15 pages long. I'm just going to kind of browse the pages here. So the pictures that you were seeing in the articles, they're here, and you can make them bigger using your PDF program, so you can take a better look at what it's going to look like and the different views and what it explains. So this is a good article, PDF to take a look at to get an idea of what it's all going to be about. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and close that, and let's go ahead and I'm going to stop the share, and let's talk a little bit about this. As I say, this morning at 4:30 is when I learned that all this was coming and more about it. I knew there was some talk about things changing, but I didn't realize it was going to be so radical and it was going to be so quick. Jim Glass, question.
Yeah, I use a Chromebook and Google Drive and Docs. Can you export that stuff to OneDrive if I decided to subscribe to that?
Oh, absolutely. And on your Chromebook, you can go to OneDrive and see the files that are there and work on them as well, because you can use the Microsoft Office or Microsoft 365 in the cloud. And let me show you that, because that's something I did want to share with everybody. Let's do that one more time here, but this time we're going to, I am going to open up a blank screen, not a blank screen, but a blank window here. And I am going to go to my Microsoft Office online. And I think this is what Office is going to start looking like on your desktop as well. But as it fills in here, you'll see that it has a little bit different look. So if I want to go to any of my Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Microsoft Forms, a quiz. So these are some things that you can use. But if I want to go to Excel here, I can click it from here and I can actually run it in the cloud from my browser. So if I open up Word, this is what Word looks like in the cloud today. Well, it's not quite that blank. I've got it saying high load system because I'm using a lot here. But it's Word, and this is free on your. You don't have to pay for Office or Microsoft 365 to utilize the online version. You just get some more things that you can do in the online version if you've got the Microsoft 365 that you pay for. But as you can see, it has a little bit different look than your desktop. Designer brings you your content so you can change what things look like. You can there's a lot of things that you can do in this, including the editor. And when I opened up a file before and I opened up editor, it told me how many spelling mistakes I had, how many grammar mistakes needed to be updated and changed, and so on. So this is available today to you just by going to OneDrive.live.com, or just go to OneDrive.com. It'll take you there. You sign into your Microsoft account, and you'll have access to all of the Microsoft Office products, even if you don't pay for them. Well, let's go ahead and close that. And I'm going to stop the share again. So, Jim, yeah, I on your Chromebook, you can go to Microsoft Word by going to open your browser, which is part of the operating system in a Chromebook, and go to Microsoft OneDrive or Office. There's different ways you can get to it, but once you get to it, you can actually run it from your browser and run Word, Excel, PowerPoint for free. Or, as I say, if you got the paid account, you get some more things that you can do with it. But and same thing with a Mac or with your phone.
So when you save the stuff, does it go to OneDrive or to Google Docs, or where
You specify where you want it. Most likely, it's going to go to OneDrive unless you specify otherwise.
Okay. And does OneDrive sync with your hard drive?
I'm sorry, it can. And that's some settings that you have to do. So you can have certain things sync with your hard drive and certain things not to. So if you save it to your hard drive, it automatically goes to OneDrive if you specify to do that. And but in some cases, you don't want all of it because you got a big hard drive and you only got a small storage space on OneDrive. You certainly don't want everything on your hard drive to try to fill up your OneDrive space. So you can specify what you want to sync and what you don't.
You know, I keep getting my OneDrive is full. Do I want to go subscribe? Because I've used up the 5 megabytes.
Yeah, gigabytes. Yeah,
gigabytes.
Yeah, yeah, and that's something you need to think about. But if you buy the Office or the Microsoft 365, the personal version for one person is $70. That gives you a terabyte of storage.
Okay. Well, one other question, and I'll get off. I also subscribe to a cloud service called iDrive.
I do too.
Does that work with the OneDrive backups, or is it a separate?
Yeah, the OneDrive backs up for me. I have it at 11 o'clock at night. It goes back and up and backs up whatever I want it to, and it only backs up what's new that day.
But that
every
was
day I have it up.
that was
there.
the OneDrive. What about the iDrive?
That's what I'm talking about. To iDrive.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so they both work together with no problem.
Oh, good. Okay, because I like iDrive.
Yes, I do too. I use it for my backup. I've got about half. It's about half full, and I think I can't think I've got 5 terabytes, and I think I'm about 50% full. I got a lot out there.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Let me get out of
Sure.
here.
Sure, Stephen.
Yeah, just to add a couple of notes to that, the OneDrive shows up right on your Windows Explorer. It shows up just as another file folder, actually. So so that makes it very easy. Although what you said about buying it maybe for one user, I got the 99 version and I have multiple computers. So I'm not sure if you're saying it only will work with one computer if you get the cheaper version, or multiple people. Anyway, I got the more. It's worth paying the $20 extra because I have several computers and I use it on all of them.
Okay, that's a good question, a very good question. If you use the same Microsoft account on all of the devices, you only need the one copy.
Okay. So I think
But I believe, and I may be wrong, it may only be good for one desktop and one. No, you're shaking your head no, Jolin, so you may be correct. I don't know whether you can. I think you can use it. Yeah, you can, as long as you sign into your Microsoft account, it doesn't matter. It's the same account, so it doesn't matter how many devices.
I use OneDrive. I use my Microsoft account. I have the $70 a year account, not the 90,
Yeah.
and I use it on my phone, my Chromebook, my Samsung tablet, and 3 Windows computers. So I
Yeah.
don't pay, because the $99 one is if you have multiple people using it.
Yeah.
And
You
the
can-
$70 version is if it's you and multiple computers.
Is that also true of Microsoft Office? You if just one account, you can use Office on all those.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Office. Microsoft 365 is
Office.
Microsoft Office and all the other things that they throw in.
Yeah, but I also use Google Drive, and I have an Apple account, even though I don't have any Apple.
Yeah.
But I have access to iCloud,
Yeah.
and I use Dropbox. So I mean, everything. I got my toes everywhere.
Yeah.
dabbling.
Even if you have just one other person, a friend or family member, you buy the $100 version and
Yes.
split it 50-50.
That's worth it.
It's worth it anyway, I think. But yeah, the only other thing I bring up, and I brought it up before, is I know you were struggling a little bit to magnify what you were putting on the screen. If you have not found the magnifier in your, it's not in accessories, it's in, what is the other one?
Power Toys.
Accessibility.
It's
No,
one
It
of
is
the
an
power.
accessibility.
Yeah, no, it's in the accessibility, right? Ease of access. It's in the ease of
Yeah.
access. That is so cool because you click on that, you can have it on the screen so that you can click on the plus or the minus, to magnify the screen. But once you have it active, you can also then minimize it. It goes off to the never land, whatever, and you then can use your Windows key and your plus or minus to magnify, and then move it around the screen, and it doesn't get in the way. But it's so helpful, especially when you're zooming and you see things that are kind of tiny on your screen. It allows you to zoom right in on them. So
Yeah,
it's
just a matter. Right now, I'm running out of
resources.
and so resources. So I'd rather. So I limit it somewhat, but don't forget too that all of the links that I'm showing you and going through are all available for you to look at any time. And then once we do the video, once I get the video up, you can also look at that at any time.
Right. Yeah, very good.
Joel, you have your hand up. Unmute yourself.
Mute. Let's try again. Drew
Okay.
and others who are familiar with OneDrive. I purchased the $99 family plan. My concern is, how can I use files between multiple users? My wife is my second user. She has a Microsoft account. I'm logging her in. She has 1 terabyte. I have 1 terabyte, but there are some files that we both update and we both use back and forth.
That's
Can
where
I?
sharing comes in. You can share a folder with another OneDrive account.
I
Absolutely.
have to learn how. Thank you.
Good.
So you can do exactly what you're looking for. You just have to look it up on how to do it.
Thank you.
Any,
Gives
any
me an area
com-
to research.
Stephen?
Another quick question. So do you use OneDrive to back up your files, Hewie, or just iDrive?
Certain folders, not all of them,
Okay.
but I use iDrive and I've got the latest version of Acronis, but I started to do a backup and said it was going to take a day and a half to back up. So I've not had that time to just dedicate to let my computer just do a backup.
So my real question then is, do you use the exact same name to your folders on both your backup drive, your cloud drive, as well as what you have on your hard drive?
It keeps the same folder names. Yeah.
It does. Okay. That's what I thought.
You can set up different ones in your OneDrive as well and use that just for that purpose. But then if you create one on your hard drive, then you can put it in your hard drive and it'll save it to that same folder out on your OneDrive.
Confusing if you didn't give it the same name, I think, but I just wondered if you could.
But you might want to have a folder out on OneDrive that's only on OneDrive, and so it would have you'd have a unique name for it.
Oh, that's a thought. Okay.
I have 3 computers backed up on OneDrive, each one separately, so I can go into it from older stuff. It's not all together.
Yeah, so you can take like I've got an old computer. It actually says it's 2007. I think some data that's backed up to a folder, and it's only on my OneDrive, but I can go into that folder and get those files if I want, download it to my, just say I want to work on it. As soon as I say I want to work on it, it'll download it to my hard drive and I'm able to work on that file or open up a video or open an image.
Okay. And Tim, before you continue, Tim just asked a question, two-factor authentication on OneDrive. Two-factor authentication is associated with your Microsoft account, which is associated with your OneDrive. So you can enable two-factor. I just don't know whether they support YubiKey or not.
Thank you.
I don't know yet either. But yeah, being able to access it with the two-factor authentication, I use the authenticator on my phone too. So if I log in on another computer that's not mine, it will send me the confirmation to the authenticator. I have the Microsoft and the Google authenticator that I use because I go to other people's homes. I go to the computer club and I sign on with my account, and it sends me the authenticator question.
Yep.
Making sure it's me.
Yep.
Okay, let's go back to sharing. And Microsoft is coming up with some other new things. Right here. Microsoft Windows 12 may require a subscription. And I thought 11 would be coming. Somewhere in 11 we would have subscriptions. I talked about that on Tech for Senior, 2 years ago, I think, saying that I thought that we would probably end up going to a subscription service of some kind. But Microsoft is reportedly considering releasing Windows 12 as a subscription service. As a website called NeoWin reports an INI configuration file in the Windows Canary channel, which is one of their testing channels, discovered by a German website called Diskmodder, includes references to a subscription edition, a subscription type, and a subscription status. So we currently have two main versions of Windows 11, Home and Professional, which cost a set price and include free updates for the lifetime of the operating system. It looks as though Microsoft may change that for Windows 12, with the upfront cost replaced by an ongoing subscription charge that would limit access to features based on your subscription chosen. For pre-configured desktop PCs and laptops that ship with Windows 12 pre-installed, it would allow manufacturers to lower their prices, as Microsoft would likely let them install Windows 12 for free, knowing that the person buying the system would need to pay for a subscription. Right now, they have to pay Microsoft a set fee to put it on a computer. So every computer that's sold, that company has paid Microsoft a fee to be able to have it on the computer. So if this turns out to be the case, we'll also need to consider the possibility of Microsoft offering a free tier and forcing the user to view ads placed throughout the Windows 12 experience. Last year, it was suggested that Windows 12 could be released in 2024. We've also seen a glimpse of the Windows 12 desktop at Microsoft Ignite. And more recently, Microsoft has been pushing AI features pretty hard alongside its subscription model for Microsoft 365 and OneDrive. A future where Windows 12 subscription offers access to all of Microsoft's premium services wouldn't come as too much of a surprise at this point. So I think what we're going to be seeing, according to the article, is most likely is a subscription service. Now, this next article is hands-on with Microsoft Copilot in Windows 11, your latest AI assistant. So if you've done the latest update, you will see down at the bottom, and I don't know whether you can see it on mine or not, but right down here at the bottom, it's the Copilot logo with a PRE for preview, because right now it's free. If I click that, you'll see that it opens up and it makes my windows a little bit smaller and opens up the Microsoft Copilot, which is really Bing Chat. And I can put anything in there. And so a colorful new icon will soon appear on your Windows 11 taskbar. It's already been installed on mine. I've done the update. It was last week or 2 weeks ago. And this AI chat sidebar powered by OpenAI, Bing, and Microsoft Technologies can change computer settings or open apps. So there's a lot of things I can do, including just asking it a question. So a lot of times people say, well, how much is if I just say how much is Microsoft 365, it will go and give me some answers. And it's doing it via searching and AI. And it gives you a good rundown. I'm not going to read this all to you. You can do the same thing on yours, but you'll see that it gives me a lot of information on it, on what it costs.
I like that it cites the sources also at the bottom.
Yes. Yeah, you'll see down here, there's a 1 and a 2. They're both Microsoft, but they're different locations, I believe. And if you click on that, it'll open to that. But you'll see that somewhere in the article that right here is a 2, and that 2 is down here. So they've added some more down here.
Yeah, and it says learn more. One of how many? One of 20 or so? Yeah,
Yeah,
so
one
that
of 30,
definitely
yeah.
keeps track, yeah.
But something else like how do I oh, what am I looking for here? How do I do something? Somebody asked a question, how do you do something in Windows?
Yeah,
Anybody?
I, and you do something.
How do I access my Microsoft account?
Okay, how do I? Of course, Ron and myself and Drew, this kind of leaves us out of the picture. They don't need us anymore.
That's right. We become obsolete.
Yep.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Because there are people that are going to come in and wonder, how do I use this? So you're going to
Yeah.
have to
Okay.
teach them. So that's
Okay.
not where that
But
the
you
questions are
can
not
see,
going to disappear.
but you can see that so many questions. If people ask me, the first thing I do is I go here and I type in the question, I copy and paste it and send it back to them, and I sound like I've really did a lot of research and I have a great answer for them. And it makes me look very smart. But people are learning that they can do it themselves.
Need to go
But
on strike, Hewie.
But you can see that it really goes in and answers what you're looking for, and it gives you step by step of things that you want to do as well. So if you want to, how do I connect my brother printer to my Chromebook? It'll give you an answer and it'll tell you what steps to take. It's really nice to have, and it's not only using Chat GPT, which is really ends in September of 2021 of it being able to gather information, but it also goes out to the web and finds information, and it does some for Chat GPT-4 as well from this, and can go out and get it. But something else that you can do is show me.
Ever use the microphone?
I use the mic all the time.
Yeah.
Let's see if it's actually going to show it.
Getting a description of it.
Yeah. Well, we're not done yet. And there's
Oh,
still
there they
other.
are.
So you can really use that a lot. And you don't need, if you don't have the Copilot preview yet, if you just go to Bing Chat and do the same thing, you'll get exactly what I'm getting. So, but by having it right here next to whatever you're working on, you can get the information and then follow what you need to do to answer whatever question that it did. And so this article tells us how to get started with Copilot, and you can see what I just did. There's a couple of videos, and it shows you how you can turn it on, and then how to use how to generate text, which is what I did. And it gives you some things that you can. Oh, this one is, it asked it for a sonnet in the style of Shakespeare. We've done those kind of things in Chat GPT over the last several months. But this is a good article to have. And then using and creating images, and some of the new images now using the Bing chat. Let's say I want to show me a
Hey,
older man holding a sign saying WinSig. If you're familiar with the way the different text to images work, you can't really read text. Well, this is all changing now. So let's see what it does.
A fellow I worked with had it to picture a cat sitting on top of a dog, and it gave him 4 really realistic photos.
There we go. It's actually using Image Creator powered by DALL-E 3, but there we go. Well, it's a WinSing. It was close.
I was going to say, does that say WinSing?
Yeah. It's not
So
perfect, but it's a
always
lot better.
understand what
It's
you're
a
trying
lot better
for.
in a way. There it is. And
Oh,
it's a
there
lot
it
better
is.
yeah, and it's a lot better than it was. It used to be you just get garbage if there was words on the screen, but with the DALL-E 3 now, it's able to do letters. And so and DALL-E 3 is expensive, but if you do it through Microsoft Bing and the image creator behind it, you'll get very realistic photos with words that work. So it's really the people who are doing videos on AI are really excited about this fact that this is now free and you're getting this quality of a picture just by telling it to do it. Let's see, there's another WinSing here, and this one I think doesn't have the eye. Yeah. But he's got some other scribbles on there. But oh, there's the extra eye. It's in the wrong place. But you can still see that we got 1 out of the 4 came out pretty good. It didn't cost me anything. I'm not paying to do this, where if you're using DALL-E 3 in order to use it with Chat GPT 4, you're paying $20 a month for it.
Right.
And so Microsoft is giving it to us for free.
For
Yeah.
now.
So for right now, if you just open up Microsoft Edge and you just do bing.com/create, you
Right.
can get.
And that's what I got here, or images and then create. Yeah. So it, oh, I don't want to close all the tabs. No, definitely don't want to do that. Okay, so let's stop the share. We haven't gotten too far down the list, but we've talked about a lot of new things. Go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, this may seem like a little trivial question, but with Office 365, you have a choice of either using the apps online, or you can download them individually to your computer and use them offline. And I am wondering whether, as we move more to these sophisticated apps, including the subscription service, if at some point they're going to cut off the people that are not online, so you can't use those features. You can't use maybe the apps, or certainly not maybe the more powerful chats, unless you're online. Now, most of us are online all the time, but not all the time. There might be times when you are not online and you would like to have access to the same features. What do you think?
I think they'll have both, and you can choose, because the online does require them to be doing most of the work, and there are times that they would rather you do it on your computer. But it's certainly a convenience by having it online, because then you can use it on any device.
Well, that's right.
Then you're going to get ads like coming out of Kazoo.
Well, yeah, unless you pay, unless you have the paid version, absolutely. But you know what? We've been watching TV since the 1950s with ads, and it hasn't been a big issue.
Right.
Until you get used to paying for it and not getting ads. And now they're saying, well, if you pay so much, you get ads, but if you pay even more, then you won't get the ads. So they've got to pay for the services somehow, and this AI stuff is extremely expensive. So by having some ads, at least they're getting some money back. Marilyn, you have your hand up.
When you were asking Bing Chat the questions,
Sure.
how is that any different than just asking Google?
Okay, it's the way the answers come. The answers are not done as a search like you do with Google, where it goes out and it looks at this giant database and finds the information. It actually puts it together. I have not found a way of explaining it easily, but what it's doing, it's figuring out the words one by one and not the thought. And it puts it together. And that's the artificial intelligence. It's
You feel
Yeah.
it's better?
When you do a
it's
conventional search, Google or Bing gives you a list of 100 websites, and then it's your responsibility to look at each one of them. And what the AI does is it looks at some of them for you and comes up with a reasonable answer.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No, we've covered a lot of material, and I think it's helped some of you, so that's good. That's what we're here for. So let me go back to sharing my screen again. So we've covered BARD, and you can see this article talks a lot about what we just were talking about and what I showed you. So we'll close that out. And then this is what we just talked about too, where OpenAI quietly ships DALL-E 3 AI image generator upgrade in Bing. So this article kind of explains that and what it's doing. So we've covered that. And again, there's another article about that. That was a big thing last week. This week it's the Microsoft OneDrive. Okay, Windows 10 and 11 no longer activate with Windows 7 and 8 keys. So if you had been hesitant to even go to Windows 10 and are still using Windows 7 or 8, you no longer can use that key to get a free copy of Windows 11, 10 or 11. You're going to have to pay for it. So hopefully you haven't not done that, that if you had a Windows 7 or 8 computer, that you did at least go to Windows 10. So what they've done is it's no longer free if you have Windows 7 or 8 to go to Windows 10. And that's all that article is talking about. Okay, now let's go back about 3 weeks. And Microsoft released the September update for version 22H2 instead of version 23H2. And this article talks about why. What they've, the gist of the article, and I'm not going to go through the article itself, but the gist of the article is what happened is instead of coming out with the 23H2, they've put in a lot of what's going to be in 23H2 into a couple of updates. The one that was a couple of weeks ago, one will be the, which was, I think, the first Tuesday in October. There'll be some more coming out probably the first week in November. And then the following one will just be 23H2, which will be nothing more than just pretty much changing the version. If that sounds confusing, it is, and don't worry about it. What it boils down to is they're making the update kind of painless. It took me 35 minutes to do the complete update in the beginning of October, and it added in the Copilot preview, and it added in a whole bunch of other new things into the Windows Windows itself. And it actually, there were 2 different updates that it did at the same time, and it brought in a lot of the new things, and they called it Moment 4. And then there'll be some more updates, and then they'll change the name of the version. And that explains about it. And this article is one of them that talks about the features and how to download it and what happens. But it was just an update, and I did it because I looked at the version, and as soon as you look at the version, it starts downloading. And so I said, well, let's go ahead and just do it. And it did it. And so I've got the latest update. My camera is blocking that, so I'll go to this one. Windows 11 Moment 4 update is live now, and it tells you about all of the features. And Microsoft Paint has been updated. There's also a pass key, which
Good
I've not
morning.
played at all.
Hello, are you on the phone?
I just muted him. It shows the various things that Clipchamp is a program to edit video, and it's very good. I've read some pretty good reviews of it. So if you're interested in adding some videos, this might be a place to start. And let's go ahead and close that and go to the next article. And it's blank. It's about Windows Copilot. Oh, some tips and tricks for it, but it's not showing up. Let's go to the next one and come back to it. No, right now it's nothing. Well, let me stop the share and then maybe come back to it. Well, that's not working either. There we go. Okay. All right, Jim, you have your hand. You're muted. I muted you.
Okay. There you go. With these updates, I have my notebook set for automatic updates. Will these come in automatically, or do you have to go for them manually?
I believe this one you have to do manually.
Okay, so you just go to the check updates and let it run. Is that it?
It's a good
I'm
idea to
sorry?
check. It's a good idea to check for your Windows updates, what's available. I do it once a week just to see what's there. Even though I've got it set for automatic, it doesn't always automatically work. So I just put, it's one of those regular maintenance things that I do.
That's a good.
Because there's a couple of things. One, if you have a laptop, you don't have it on all the time. So when you close it down, it may be the time period that's when it would have done an update. So when you start it up again, it doesn't just automatically do the update. So
Correct.
And then sometimes it'll do the update, but you have to reboot it, and you just never do that. When you close it down, you just say go to sleep, and so when you open it back up, it's not going to do a restart, so it doesn't do the update or finish.
That's a good idea. I have another question, if I might.
Okay, sure, go ahead, and then Fred will be next.
Okay, my default browser is Google, but I was trying to use Bing the other day, and I couldn't shut it down. I had to restart the machine to get rid of it.
Yeah, I don't have that. Yeah, I don't have that problem. I have in my taskbar, I have Brave, Bing, Chrome, Firefox, and the DuckDuckGo browser, all
Edge?
in my and Edge. I didn't mention Edge and Edge, all in my taskbar, and I can open any or all of them, because sometimes I want to go to a website and I'm having some kind of an issue with my account, so I'll go in with no account. That doesn't sound right, but with no account. But I'll go in and sign in with a different account just to see if I have the same issue. And sometimes I can make something work in one browser that's not working for that particular website in Chrome or in Edge or whatever. So you can have all of them. You can have all of them open at the same time.
I was just going to mention Tim's question.
Okay, Tim, you're muted.
Unmute.
Thank you. Could you please post the link to download a offline installer or a thumb drive installer for Windows 11? Thanks.
I don't understand.
I'm not sure what you mean, Tim.
Oh, you just want to create a thumb drive?
I need to download it to a thumb drive and then install from that thumb drive since I don't have a CD.
Oh, yeah, I'll find that and post it for you.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, there's a set file that you put on a thumb drive and it'll do it. And Drew will find it and put it in the chat for you.
Yeah,
Stephen?
I need to install it in a VM.
Yeah, regarding Jim's question, Microsoft is very aggressive. Every time I get an update for Google Chrome, or actually for Edge, Microsoft wants to take over. It wants to kick, Google off my computer completely. And I think Bing is the same way. So you got to be very careful the way it's worded. Do you want to reset Edge as your default browser? It will take over then. So if you don't,
it doesn't uninstall it. It just makes it your default.
That's right.
But you got any box that pops up, you need to read it.
Yeah, very carefully.
Doesn't matter what it is, because it could be something that if you click on it can create a problem for you. Because that's how the bad guys get away with it. You go to a certain website and something will pop up on your screen and tell you you're having some kind of an issue where you really don't, but it says call this number or click this. Don't do that. Absolutely not. So just be careful and read. Don't just assume, oh, that's something all I got to do is click on it. Read it first.
We had a woman come into the computer club a couple of weeks ago. She got one of those pop-ups. She let them into her computer. She went to her bank. She wrote a check for $25,000 and deposited into another account in the same bank. It was all bogus, all a scam. And bless her heart, I don't know how. Just don't ever, when that happens, find the power button, not the shutdown within Windows, but the physical power button on your computer. If you get that pop up, press that button and hold the power button down for 15 seconds until your computer is off. Take a breath and then restart the computer and the bad guy will be gone. Don't click on it. Don't call it. And they're horrible people.
Absolutely. Thank you. Fred, you have a question.
Yeah, my understanding of Copilot is that it's mostly used for coding. How do you distinguish between Copilot and Bing? And is there a version of Copilot that will be out on Patch Tuesday for us Windows 10 users?
I believe you can use it now, but you use it from Bing. When you go to Bing here, let me go ahead and share my screen.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to have Copilot for Windows 10.
Yeah, it may not be Copilot, but it'll do basically the same thing now. But if we go to, well, let's see, that's not what I want to do. Well, I can do it from Chrome as well. If I go to Bing, Bing.com, it takes me to this. So this is in Chrome now, not in Edge. It gives me this and then say, try it. And now instead of the search for Bing, you're in the chat. We'll let it populate here.
There you
It's
go.
the same as Copilot. It actually did a test for me. but I can say here is,
Yum.
yeah, it did that on its own.
So when would you,
How do I access,
when would you use Copilot? When would you use Bing? Bing is chat, basically.
Basically the same thing.
yeah,
It's being integrated. It's all integrated.
So it's one in the same.
Copilot's going to be part of almost everything Microsoft, where the Bing, you can just do it from a window like I'm doing right now. So here it says, 2 ways to access Bing chat. You can use Bing chat as a chat, or you can use it as a sidebar. So you can come over here. I think do I still have the B up here? Yeah, there's a B here for Bing. And if I do this, I'll open Bing chat and it'll open another window. It'll do the same thing that I just did, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it can be an extension like I've got here, or you can just go to the Bing website, or again, down here, if you've got Copilot, you click that and it puts it on the side of the screen.
Now, why would you use Copilot over Bing or vice versa?
It's
That's
the
what
same,
I'm confused
but
about.
it's the same thing.
It's
Yeah,
the same
look
thing.
at what
But
yeah,
Copilot, I understand, is used by coders, by developers.
It can be.
It can,
Yeah,
absolutely.
You're
Yeah.
thinking of the Copilot that is integrated with
GitHub.
Microsoft. There's a Microsoft Copilot that is linked to coding that is at GitHub, and
Correct.
that is
Correct.
slightly different than this.
That's why I'm confused.
Yes.
Yeah, this is not that. But
not-
basically, right now, what we're talking about today is a little bit of overlap. You can get two ways to get to the same place right now.
You'll see them both on my screen. You've got the same thing here. You're more creative, more balanced, and more precise. More creative, more balanced. We'll change it here. Ask me anything and ask me anything. So Copilot and Bing are the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. What you'll
And
notice
coding
as
is
time
one of the
goes-
things you can do with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
what
ahead,
you'll
Drew.
notice as time goes on is the Copilot will be integrated into more products, so that it won't be a simple search engine. It'll be inside your PowerPoint program, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be integrated into everything in Windows.
And then pretty soon it'll come by IV in your local hospital.
There you go.
Or come in the mail. So anyway, there are a few that we didn't get to today, but you can click on them. They're pretty much related to what we've been talking about anyway. And we're at that time. So let me stop the share. And Jim, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I was wondering, how does this compare to that one that Google's introducing? What is it? Bard?
Bard. They're both very good. And they're still
they're
all being
competitors.
developed.
I often check both of them.
Yes, I agree, Drew. I often will query. I don't use I don't like the chat part of it. The carrying on a conversation with AI just doesn't sit with me. But what I do is I will create something I'm writing for the club or a presentation. I will have, I use OpenAI Playground. I use Bard, and I use Bing or chat or a Copilot now. And I have each of them proofread it for me, and then I'll have them do a review for me, and any changes I will consider, because sometimes it doesn't sound like it would be from me. So I really enjoy using all of them, because each of them, there's a little finesse. I've been working on setting up a series, explaining to our club members two-factor authentication. There's a presentation on the 9th, but all the 2FA, MFA, all the little acronyms that are used for two-factor authentication, nobody knows what they are. So I thought I'd put a little thing together before next Monday's, and I've used all 3 of them to help me figure that out.
Right.
Joe, you have your hand up for final question, and then I think time is our enemy, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, along the same lines as everybody else talking about using multiple AIs. One thing when I use the AI for something that I don't know a lot about, I like to ask it to ask the same thing exactly the same way to at least two AIs to find out if it's hallucinating, because sometimes they hallucinate and they tell you things that aren't true, even though they give you links like chat does or Bing does. It may give you a link, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it goes to that place. So I'll ask both AI on Bing and AI Bard and even Claude to find out. And if they give me the same answer, chances are it's the same. But if I get two different answers, somebody's making something up, and I got to check it out.
Or they both are, yeah.
Well,
I
they
did a
both
video.
are.
I did a video in the last few weeks on AI lying to you or hallucinating, as we say. But hallucinating means that they make stuff up. And I did an article on it. I did a test using a riddle and to see what answers they came up with, and they came up with different answers.
That was a good article.
Yeah, thank you. So it's interesting. So you can't bet your bottom dollar on what you read is true. So you've got to double check it as well. So with that, let me go ahead and share one more time and say this has been the Central Florida Computer Society and the Sarasota Technology User Group WinSig for Sunday, October 8th. I'm Hewie Poplock. We've had a very interesting discussion and talk and checking out new things about Windows. And we're glad you were here. We do it again the second Sunday of next month in November.